is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1990.
Let's face it, drama and scandal seem to follow Tiffany Henyard wherever she goes, but this time it's gotten far more personal. Rumor has it that the so-called super mayor of Dalton is being blackmailed by none other than her former right-hand woman, Carmen Carlisle. Yes, the same Carmen who once stood by Henyard through thick and thin is now reportedly holding some serious secrets over her head. Here's the kicker. She's not just threatening to spill the tea to the press. She allegedly has receipts that could land Henyard in hot water with federal authorities. What are these documents, and how did Carlisle even get her hands on them? Oh, it gets even juicier.
Reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dalton mayor and Thornton Township supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not.
According to the latest gossip in Dalton, Carmen Carlisle wasn't just any assistant. She was there during some of Henyard's most questionable moments, and she didn't just walk away with memories. Rumor has it, Henyard once asked Carlisle to destroy important documents that might be tied to the investigation into the mayor's alleged misuse of public funds. These include receipts, contracts, and records of suspicious transactions. But instead of destroying them, Carlisle reportedly kept the documents, likely planning to use them later. Now she's allegedly blackmailing Henyard for a large sum of money, threatening to hand everything over to federal investigators if her demands aren't met.
In South Holland, in a room filled with curiosity and concern, Tiffany Henyard addressed her constituents.
The Thornton Township supervisor and Dalton mayor invited the community to Township Talk, where she responded to our report about her use of the township credit card by mentioning travel expenses.
It all started falling apart when Carlisle went from being a loyal assistant to becoming a vocal critic. This wasn't just a simple disagreement. It was a complete betrayal. Her recent public statements, along with her vote to limit Henyard's access to credit cards and special event funds, have left many people questioning what's really going on.
We reached out to the FBI, which said it is policy for the agency not to comment on the nature, existence, or non-existence of any investigation that may be occurring. A public relations firm responded on behalf of the mayor, saying neither Henyard or the village of Dalton have received any subpoenas or been contacted by the FBI or any other law enforcement.
Why would Carlisle make such a drastic move? Could it be that she's using her insider knowledge to bring Henyard down? After all, they were close, until Carlisle suddenly turned against her boss. Now, rumors say this feud has hit a boiling point. At the center of it all is the growing tension between Henyard and her former allies. While Henyard continues to act as if everything is fine, her world appears to be falling apart behind the scenes. Many of her once loyal supporters are distancing themselves, leaving her to face the consequences alone.
Yep, Ray and Mike, Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for this special meeting tonight. That left the meeting canceled and Henyard with the floor.
If the rumors about Carlisle's blackmail are true, Henyard is more isolated than ever. Publicly, she's doing everything she can to maintain her image, attending city events, hosting lavish parties, and delivering speeches that portray her as the people's mayor. But behind closed doors, it's a different story. Reports suggest she's in a panic, desperately trying to figure out how to handle the situation and protect herself from the potential fallout.
The supervisor, Tiffany Henyard.
Are there any questions that you have at all?
No, right now I'm going to give her a chance.
And this meeting comes one day after Fox 32's Dane Placco exposed what some are calling misappropriation of funds after traveling to Washington, D.C. in January for a U.S. conference of mayors.
Sources say Henyard is losing sleep over this, constantly on edge, knowing that Carlisle could leak something damaging at any moment. This isn't just about her reputation anymore, it's about her political survival. And Carlisle isn't the only one who's turned against her. In recent weeks, Henyard's administration has faced a wave of defections. Trustees who once supported her are now either publicly criticizing her or working to limit her powers. For instance, Township trustee Chris Gonzalez, who helped tighten spending controls, has openly spoken out against Henyard's lavish use of public funds. It seems the cracks in her administration are widening, and the fallout is far from over.
More and more information. They'll turn up more leads. They may turn up more witnesses. They may find a cooperator. They may find an informant, all which will benefit the investigation tremendously.
But based on what we know now, if you're Tiffany Henyard, how are you feeling?
I would be nervous.
Henyard's troubles are piling up as trustees cut her access to the township budget and cancel several of her planned events, leaving her super mayor image in tatters. One major blow was the infamous party at the Taste of Thornton Township, which cost over $85,000 in taxpayer money. Featuring big-name performers like Kiat and Jay Holiday, the event was meant to showcase Henyard's strength and popularity, but flopped badly, drawing a sparse crowd. Critics quickly seized the moment, slamming her for reckless spending. Adding to the fire, staff released a financial breakdown showing a turnaround from a $2 million deficit years ago to a $6 million surplus under Henyard's administration. But even that positive spin couldn't overshadow the growing dissent. Carmen Carlisle was reportedly there, watching everything unfold. Many are now wondering if the failed event was the last straw that pushed Carlisle to betray her former ally. Rumors suggest her blackmail isn't just about money. Some insiders claim Carlisle wants Henyard to step down, paving the way for new leadership that might include Carlisle herself. Meanwhile, Henyard denies all accusations, insisting she's the victim of a smear campaign fueled by jealousy. In one bold move, she even referred to herself in the third person, claiming, "They don't show you this side of Tiffany Henyard, the productivity." However, with trust eroding, her words are hard to believe. The feud between Henyard and Carlisle has become Dalton's biggest political drama. Once close allies, they are now locked in a bitter power struggle, with Carlisle allegedly holding evidence that could end Henyard's political career for good. The stakes couldn't be higher.
The FBI has been using electronic surveillance as part of its investigation. Agents are asking questions about Henyard's alleged use of taxpayer dollars and resources, including massive spending on out-of-town trips.
If the rumors are true, it's no longer a question of if, but when Carlisle will release those damaging documents. The tension between the two is palpable, and the entire town is bracing for the fallout. In the meantime, Henyard's behavior is only adding fuel to the fire. At a recent city council meeting, she clashed with trustees who are fed up with her spending habits. When they moved to cut funding for her upcoming events, Henyard lost her temper, accusing them of sabotaging her work. "You guys just want to halt everything here at Thornton Township because I don't see y'all doing anything," she snapped. But the trustees stood their ground, making it clear they're done letting her operate unchecked. This confrontation is yet another sign of how fractured Henyard's administration has become. The very people who once supported her are now working to rein her in, and Henyard is struggling to maintain control. At this point, it feels like she's fighting a losing battle on every front, against her trustees, against public criticism, and most notably, against her former ally, Carlisle, who seems ready to watch it all unravel. Things took another turn when a special meeting called by Henyard to approve township-funded events was canceled after none of the trustees showed up. Left with an empty room, Henyard had the floor, but no allies to back her up. And it's not just Henyard's political career that hangs in the balance. If Carlisle follows through and hands those receipts over to federal investigators, the consequences could go far beyond politics, leading to a much bigger reckoning for the embattled mayor. Henyard's troubles are escalating, and if the rumors about Carlisle's evidence are true, she could be facing a legal nightmare. The FBI is reportedly investigating her finances, with subpoenas issued for records tied to her lavish spending and alleged misuse of public funds. If Carlisle does possess the documents Henyard supposedly asked her to destroy, it could seal her fate. Publicly, Henyard continues to act unfazed, but insiders say she's increasingly paranoid, unsure of who in her inner circle she can trust. Former friends and allies are turning against her, leaving her isolated and vulnerable. The tension is palpable, with Henyard clashing with trustees over budget cuts and canceled events. At a recent meeting, she lashed out, accusing them of sabotaging her work. The $85,000 Taste of Thornton Township party, featuring high-profile performers like Kiki Wyatt and Jay Holiday, has become a symbol of her alleged financial recklessness. Critics called it a flop, with residents outraged over the misuse of taxpayer money. Henyard's spending habits have raised more eyebrows, with reports of first-class travel, luxury accommodations, and expensive meals adding to the controversy. Behind the scenes, investigations are underway. Trustees have cut her access to township funds, and her administration appears to be crumbling. Meanwhile, Carlisle's alleged blackmail plot adds another layer to the unfolding drama, with whispers that her demands go beyond money, possibly pushing Henyard to step aside. This saga isn't just about personal betrayal or drama, it's rooted in deeper allegations of corruption and financial misconduct that have haunted Henyard's administration for months. As the scandals pile up and investigations close in, Henyard's political future hangs by a thread, with many wondering how long she can hold on. Henyard's spending habits have raised serious concerns, with reports of extravagant expenses charged to the township's credit cards. One source revealed that in just 5 months of 2023, Henyard and her team racked up over $67,000 in charges, including personal items like sports apparel and Uber Eats orders, far from what one would expect from a public official. Things took an even more suspicious turn when it was revealed that Henyard had several luxury vehicles leased under the township's name, with the cost for these vehicles reaching over $374,000. Although Henyard claimed the expenses were necessary for her official duties, many residents found this explanation hard to believe. Additionally, Henyard had a large security detail, with police officers working overtime to escort her to events, which added to the growing list of financial concerns. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was brought in to investigate Dalton's finances, and her preliminary findings were shocking. Under Henyard's leadership, the town's general fund plummeted from a $5.61 million surplus in 2022 to a $3.65 million deficit by May 2024. Lightfoot's report revealed questionable spending practices, including extravagant purchases from retailers like Amazon, Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair. One of the most jaw-dropping revelations was that Henyard had allegedly spent $33,000 in a single day on Amazon. To make matters worse, police overtime costs had soared, with some officers earning more in overtime than their base salary. The investigation has now escalated, with the FBI reportedly using electronic surveillance to track Henyard's financial dealings. Agents are said to be investigating her lavish trips, high-end purchases, and possibly even the receipts that Carmen Carlisle is rumored to be holding over Henyard's head. The FBI's investigation has extended beyond Henyard, with multiple individuals named, including Dalton's acting police chief, 4 village and township trustees, and 2 of Henyard's relatives who were on the government payroll. As the investigation unfolds, questions continue to mount about where all the taxpayer money is going, and Henyard's political future looks more uncertain than ever. As the investigation into Tiffany Henyard's financial dealings intensifies, sources reveal that subpoenas have already been issued to gather critical information about her records. Business owners and former employees are reportedly cooperating with federal agents, and the pressure on Henyard continues to mount. With the FBI gathering evidence, Henyard's political future hangs by a thread, and there's growing speculation that her arrest could be imminent depending on how the investigation unfolds. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard has remained defiant, repeatedly denying any wrongdoing. In a video posted on social media, she claimed that her critics were targeting her because of her race and that they couldn't handle a black woman in power. However, many of her supporters are growing disillusioned, and the evidence against her continues to pile up. The ongoing feud between Henyard and the village's Board of Trustees has also reached a boiling point. The board has been working to limit her access to township funds, putting new restrictions on event spending and credit card use. Henyard has fought back fiercely, accusing the trustees of trying to sabotage her administration. Despite her protests, the board is determined to hold her accountable for what they see as gross mismanagement of public funds. In the midst of all this chaos, it seems like Henyard is facing a dual crisis: a political battle with her former allies and a legal storm with the FBI investigation. With mounting pressure from all sides, it's unclear whether Henyard will be able to maintain her grip on power or whether this scandal will mark the beginning of her downfall. As the story unfolds, it's clear that there are still many unanswered questions, especially about Carmen Carlisle's alleged blackmail scheme and the lavish spending. With subpoenas in place and new details emerging daily, the people of Dolton are eagerly watching to see how this will all play out. Henyard's fate, whether political or legal, hangs in the balance.